Hello, y'all on YouTube. This is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special unboxing, something that came in. I believe this is part of the pass around. Let's take a look, because I believe it came in from BladeBinge. Yeah, so I think this is part of the pass around. So let's see what this is. I think I know what it is, but I think it's pretty cool, and I think it'll be exciting to share this with you. So let's get into this. So today I'm opening up with my Chris Reeve. This is my large Sabenza, sorry, I couldn't think for a second. The carbon fiber inlay, Blade Q exclusive. I did put custom thumb studs on there, which I really like. The Lynch deep pocket carry clip, to me, makes this knife just absolutely fantastic. So let's get into this and see what we got. All right, so we're looking at, ooh, a Benchmade. All right, so I think this is from Zach Stuff. He allowed, from Benchmade, Benchmade works with Zach Stuff, and a lot of times Zach Stuffs will share with us one of the new Benchmades, and this is the 710. I was very curious about this. S90V manual opener. It looked really interesting, and some of you guys are gonna be like, "That's too expensive." I get it. I get it. If it's too expensive, and the other thing I would always tell you is, if you ever pay full price, you look around. A lot of times there's some good deals out there. You can find some good deals, I think. But let's see what this is all about. All right, so we got some peanuts to keep it nice and safe, which I would do as well. I'm glad that was done. This is pretty nice knife. Now, I don't think this is the super fancy exclusive one, but it is pretty nice. It is pretty nice. All right, so it's got the little sticker. All right, so we're gonna move this over here. Now, I knew this was gonna be bigger, and that was one of the reasons why I wasn't sure if I was interested. Aluminum scales, all right. Nice and chamfered all the way around, beautiful texturing. I like the pivot collar on there. Okay, so the axis lock is a little different. And if I remember Zach's stuff, if you don't know Zach's stuff, go check him out. He's got a lot of Benchmade stuff. And he actually, I think, did a disassembly of this knife. This is not my knife. I won't disassemble it. This is part of the pass around. I don't know. Maybe this is the very one he disassembled in his video, which would be cool. But definitely one to go check out Zach's stuff for the disassembly video, and maybe his reviews too. All right, so there's a deep pocket carry clip. It looks like it's kind of bronze anodized. I'm not sure. I think it's still steel. Let's double check that. Okay, so it's a steel clip. Steel liners underneath for sure. Okay, so steel liners. All right, so aluminum scales, but steel liners. All right, pretty big knife. So if you like bigger knives, I mean, compared to my Osborne, let's compare it to my Osborne over here, which is not a small knife, but definitely can see the size is much bigger in that regard, right? So we're already looking at a larger one. I mean, and then if we were to compare it, maybe, everyone's favorite, and you're gonna love it, the Narrows, which is, probably a little bit bigger, but I don't know if it's about the same. It's a little shorter than the other one. So anyways, that's another one. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this guy. Well, first of all, it looks like it's off-centered a little bit. I don't know if it's loose. We'll check it here in a second. All right, long, big blade. It might be a little loose. Maybe we can tighten the pivot. Oh, the action's really nice. Hold on. Yeah, that action's really nice. Now, it does seem like, it's a little bit loose. Maybe that's why it's not centered. So let's, I'm not gonna disassemble or anything, but I will tighten it because I don't want to scratch the blade. So for sure, I'm gonna do that. And typically, these guys take the T10, I think it is. Let's confirm that. So this is a T, if you're curious. This is a T10. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it's a T10. Yeah, it was a little loose. All right, so let's see. Not quite centered yet. Yeah, this one looks like it might need a little centering. I think I put it a little too tight. All right, so I did it too tight where it loses its action. Okay, so unfortunately, so what I typically do with mine, I would take it apart, I would polish the phosphor bronze washers, I would get that action just perfect. So the action was actually probably as good as it was going to get right now before you took it apart, did a little centering, polished the phosphor bronze washers. There we go. Now we're back to where we were before. Okay. Yeah, so there's a way to center these. You can see it's off just a little bit to the left, but it's not mine. That's a pretty easy fix with a little piece of paper in there. Sometimes when you take it apart, you can swap out the washers, and that sometimes centers it. Sometimes just taking it apart and putting it back together will have things fit in the place it should be, and it centers it. It's all interesting, right? But at the price range, because I believe these aren't cheap, right? They're like over $400, I'm pretty sure. This is S90V blade steel. Oh, so McHenry and Williams, I guess they're the designers. All right, S90V right there. You can see kind of a bronze a Cerakote matches the bronze pivot collar. Interesting. All right, so there's some weight relief on the steel liners in there. You can see some cutout there. You see the milling on there. All right, we got 2 nice standoffs, bronze as well, and a middle standoff in there. Don't know if that has a purpose except for just to balance the weight and keep it centered. So this is axis lock, but what I can tell you is that they're different in the way they work, the springs. I believe these are different springs. I don't have the video here. There will be a link probably to, if I can get the, if Benchmade publishes like the inner workings of how this looks, I will definitely publish that video there as well. Maybe I'll have a link to Zach's disassembly and reassembly as well if you want to check that out. But hopefully I do. If I don't, shame on me and remind me. But yeah, so beautiful milling, beautiful, texturing, you can see that. I like the little contour here, which is nice because you know where your fingers need to go. That is always appreciated. I will tell you, on the Osborne, they don't do that. And I really wish they would do that. I ended up putting different thumb studs on here because I had to get just a little bit high to get that right action because it would rip my thumb. Because it was really hard to get the right action and it would be too low and I couldn't get to it. Now, I know for some people this is a classic, it's been around forever. I get it. But this for me worked better for me. Now, I like these. These are custom Rockscale Design scales. Do recommend these. Really, really nice. Do recommend those. I'm sure they'll do something on the 710. I'm sure at some point once they come out with the G10 versions, they've got to come out with G10s, right? So, but very, very cool. It's a hefty knife, I will tell you that. So let's look at that. I mean, it's big. You can definitely choke up here, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's absolutely chokeable. And it's definitely for a pinch grip. Now, you got to be careful because it's a big one up here. So you can definitely do that. You know, some people do pinch grip like this. I guess that's like Tri-State. I think that's how he does it. But definitely work like that. I have large hands with big meaty fingers. So if you have extra large hands with regular size fingers, double extra large hands with smaller fingers, it's about where you're going to be. So I think extra large hands with meaty fingers, double extra large hands, probably even triple extra large hands with meaty fingers. So if you've got a big hand, the 710 is going to be something you might be very interested in. Now I know it's a Benchmade and some of you guys are going to be like, oh, it's too much, whatever. I get it. I mean, we all know that, all right? I get it. But, you know, and I get, you're all going to feel like, yeah, they're fanboys. I get it. But you know what? Here's the thing. Looking at this objectively as a knife, okay, I can tell you when I get this, there's a few things that I wish. I wish it was a little cleaner straight out of the box. Wish I didn't have to take it apart and tune the washers and center it sometimes, which not always, but sometimes I have to do. Wish I didn't have to do all of those things, but sometimes you do. And that's just what happens, right, with a Benchmade. Whether you like it or not, you know, I do that with my Spydercos. I did it with my Chris Reeve Sebenza. I did it with my Spartan Harsey. So, you know, I tend to do that with every knife just because I like to have a certain action and I don't have a problem with it. Now, you know, maybe not for you. I get it. So, you know, there's other options. There's Hogue. There is, well, there's Hogue. And then there's, why is my brain suddenly going blank? I don't know. Hogue would be the next best thing out there I could think of. And I know there's another one, and for whatever reason, my brain is just not thinking about it. But there are definitely some neat alternatives out there for you to consider for USA knives. But this is also a great knife. You know, there's alternatives as far as overseas, right? So there's other ones that you can get maybe in Taiwan, maybe in China if you're okay with that. But this is a USA made knife. So, you know, there you go. I don't understand their pricing model yet. Maybe there's something special they're doing. Maybe they're not outsourcing certain things. Cool, but it'd be nice to know. But I still like their product. And the 710 is pretty cool. It does look, kind of has some nice finishes. Just like I did like the Narrows. I really enjoyed the Narrows. Now, it's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to like the Narrows. I like my Narrows. This is the DLC version, which is what I wanted. And I do enjoy this. I enjoy carrying this knife. I think it's pretty cool. This one's on caged ceramic ball bearings, which to me was really cool. I do like that. This one feels like it's in phosphor bronze washer, so it might be a little different for sure. Action's pretty nice. I do like that. Like I said, chamfering. Handle grip, we got the new lock. These are pretty cool. Starting to see more people use that sort of design. It's a little easier to work. I don't know, let me see, is this where I can work it one hand easily? Well, yeah, you can sort of work that better one-handed. Okay, that's kind of cool. Can I do it the other way? Well, yeah, that's kind of neat. Okay, so looking on the inside, I do see some rings that work on this crossbar right? And it looks like it keeps it in place, centered inside of here. So what's nice about that, it's not like the ram lock, but it does give you that ability of the ram lock where you can use one-handed. Okay, that's pretty stinking cool. I don't know if anybody notices that. All right, so I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. Okay, so I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can get my flashlight. All right, so let's see. I don't know if you can see that right there. Do you see that? There's this little, and it's on both sides right there, on both sides. And that's right in here where the crossbar lock is. And that's what keeps it in there. So when I'm manipulating this one-handed, I can do this one-handed. Like if you use over here. So let's look at this one. So typically when you do this, it doesn't work as well one-handed. It tends to kind of bend a little bit, and it makes it a little more difficult to work one-handed. Though I'm feeling I'm being proved a liar right now by this very thing. Well, not really, because it's pushing in, right? On this one, it seems to be on the inside, which makes this a little easier to operate. It feels a little bit, and then the way that the thumb stud, the way this is like right here, and I put the pressure in, it doesn't feel like it's making it cause weird pressure points. So yeah, I think that's kind of cool. So I don't know if you can see that. That's kind of neat. All right. Very cool. All right, so let's take a look at this knife here real quick. So here's the aluminum scale, as you can see that, with the brass pivot there, and there's the new kind of axis bar kind of studs, if you will, or whatever you want to call them, ramps. They look like more ramps right there. So we have a standoff, which is a traditional white standoff, and then you have two brass standoffs back here. All right, then you've got the hardware here. Here's the blade. You can see the liners in here, the aluminum scales on the outside. It is a little off-centered. I would love to center that. It's not my knife. I can't really do that. You can see the phosphor bronze washers in there. I don't know how thick they are. They look like they're pretty thick. I wonder if those could be replaced with caged bearings. They look pretty thick. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Then you have, let's see, we looked at the back. All right. So here's the side with the clip. And the clip looks like it's bronze, right? Looks a little bit like the Adamas kind of clip. And there you can see the T8. These are T6s. I really wish Benchmade would do T8s. I don't know why they still do T6s. It is frustrating at times. All right, and the clip here as well. It is pretty deep carry. It does have the lanyard loop there. It does work pretty well. All right, so let's look at the blade here. It's a larger blade for sure. I mean, you can already see that blade. We're looking at over almost 4 inches of cutting blade, and definitely 4 inches of the blade from to the hilt. So that's kind of cool. All right, I like that bronze Cerakote. You can see the nice swedge on top. It almost looks like a flat back, but it is a drop point. Now, it does have a bit of a recurve. I'm not a big fan of recurves. They're always a little more challenging to sharpen. Recurve is when it bows in like this right here, and you can see that right there. That's the recurve, which is nice for a cutting. When you're cutting into something, it does get grip a little bit better, like into a rope or something. So just keep that in mind. There's the nice Benchmade, and then on the back side, you can see there's the S90V, and then you can see the designer right there. Henry Williams right there, right? So pretty cool. It is pretty sharp. Looks like a good, maybe, I don't know, 18, 20 degree angle blade there. There's the thumb studs. There's no jimping on the back, but there's jimping on the spine, on the liners, or the liners right here. So it does give you a little jimping, but it doesn't give you a full front jimping. Jimping is flat. The thumb studs are kind of high. Now, the thumb studs are kind of in the cutting path, unfortunately. You can see that, which is kind of traditional Benchmade. I mean, let's look at the Osborne. Osborne, you can see that. It's not as bad, but it's definitely in the cutting path as well. And I think the Narrows like that too. Yeah, the Narrows is like that too. So there you go. All right, so not bad. Oh, and so now I was going to look inside. You can see there's the weight relief in there. Can you see that? Weight relief inside on both sides. Now, you don't see the springs, the Omega spring, as much, and definitely not in here. You can see that, the Omega spring, not on this side nor on that side. It's a different type of spring. Again, I can't take it apart to show you, so there you go. Very cool, interesting design. I think it's pretty neat to check out. So there you go. That is the Benchmade, I believe it's called the 710. Yeah, the 710. So pretty cool, Another crossbar, kind of a knife there. Didn't get a chance to, we're just testing it. This is pass around. It's not my knife. I'm not going to hard use it. This is not my knife. Zach from Zach Stuff's kind enough to allow the pass around. Check this out. I will make sure this knife is in the same condition that I received it in. So to me, that's very important. If I'm ever given the opportunity to check out a knife, that I respect the person who does that by absolutely taking the best care of it. Even if you tell me that I can beat it up, I just not cool with that. I may cut a few pieces of paper if I'm allowed to do so, but I'm never going to beat up a knife, right? Unless it's my own knife. And even then, I'm not a bushwhacker. I'm not a survivalist. I'm not a special forces. I don't go out and do crazy, wacky stuff like that. And there are great channels that you can go check out if that's your thing, right? If you're like, hey, where are your stress tests? Well, I'm a dude who uses his knives on a daily basis. That's me. That's how I review my knives, how I use my knives. Like probably 98, 99% of the people out there, I use a knife, like in a pocket, to cut boxes, you know, dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, whatever. That's how I use my knife. So there you go. All right, if you found this content fun, interesting, or worthwhile, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows the channel to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone out there who watches the videos, who likes the videos, who enjoys the videos. I appreciate you guys. I mean, if you watch the live streams, you're just part of the channel. I really do appreciate you guys, sincerely. And if you haven't already, maybe hit that notification button down below as well so you can be notified of future content like this video. And then a big, huge shout out, thank you to all my channel members out there. You guys allow this channel to do things more quickly than I've ever been able to do, than I could even hope to do were it not for you channel members. Okay, so there's a lot of things that would prohibit me from checking out nicer knives. I couldn't cover the cost of the shipping. I couldn't do the giveaways that I get a chance to do. I couldn't do some of the big giveaways. I couldn't maybe check out some knives for the channel to have as far as pieces to look at, you know, things to buy and maybe sometimes give away, whatever. And then you guys, by supporting the channel, you know, you've encouraged me so much. You probably know that, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you. There's times when it's been tough because I work full time. This is not my full-time job. I do this as a hobby and I love it. I love knives. I would do this just if I could talk to 10 guys out there with knives. I would enjoy this, right? But hey, strangely enough, a few more than 10 people are starting to enjoy the channel. And so I want to make sure I produce decent content that you guys can enjoy, that's worthwhile, that maybe gives you a perspective from me, that's helpful for you in making a knife purchase or thinking about a knife. That's my ultimate goal, just to kind of give you that perspective. You know, you don't have to agree with me. I probably don't agree with you, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree. That's the joy of knife collecting. There's so many awesome knives out there to collect and enjoy. There's a lot of knives I'd love to get, I can't afford. There's a lot of knives that I've had that I've enjoyed, but I just don't carry, so they're not in my collection anymore. And you might go, have you checked this knife out? Yeah, actually I owned that one. I did a review on that one. I owned it and I loved it. I just never carried it. You know, that happens all the time. So there you go. Again, this one is really interesting. I will tell you, this is really interesting. I'll see if there's another variant that comes out with this that will maybe allow me to maybe put custom scales on. The aluminum always seems to add a little bit extra. If they had like a G10 version of this, I think that would be cool. A lighter version that might be a little nicer. I'd really dig. I really dig this new axis lock. That's really cool. All right, so yeah, so I appreciate you channel members out there. I appreciate you guys. And as a small way for me to say thank you to channel members, I do a once a month members giveaway. If you didn't know that, it just means that because you guys are being so generous, I give an extra nice knife away. I usually have every Monday live when I have them. I've been pretty good in those Monday lives. I do a giveaway, and it's usually a budget knife giveaway, a nice one. I don't like to give, you know, stuff I don't want to own, but it's a budget knife, maybe a cool pry bar, something interesting, right? Something that was maybe given to the channel to give away. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's really cool stuff. Sometimes it's, you know, it's interesting stuff, and I hope some of you guys find that kind of cool. But I try to do that every Monday. But for the channel members, I do a once a month special members giveaway. And so that's why I want you as members to know how I appreciate you and thank you. And if you've been on the fence, you thought, hey, I'd like to become a channel member, I'd love to have you. Check out the description down below. I have 3 different tiers. There's a link for that in the description for 3 different tiers of membership. And if you become a brand new channel member, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a sticker. That's my other way to say thank you. So if you've become a brand new channel member, email me with your name and address. I'll mail you a sticker. If you were a channel member all this time and you're a member right now and you've never emailed me to ask for a sticker, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a sticker. And if you were a member and then for whatever reason stopped being a member and then became a member again for whatever reason, and you're a member right now and you've never had to ask for a sticker, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a sticker. It's my small way to say thank you to you guys. So thank you. Appreciate every one of you guys. And if you haven't already, check me out over on Instagram. Again, I mean Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.